Hey everyone, it's Johnny. Welcome back to the podcast. Here is episode 90. The client changed everything at the last minute. Have you ever spent weeks preparing a project only to have a client change everything a few days before the deadline? Today we're looking at 5 workplace expressions. Move the goalposts, throw a wrench into it, back to square one, under the gun, and salvage the situation. 3 weeks ago, my team was putting the finishing touches on a major proposal for one of our biggest clients. The project had been moving smoothly. We had held regular meetings, confirmed the requirements, and completed several rounds of revisions. In fact, we were only 2 days away from delivering the final version. Everyone was feeling confident. Then the client called. At first, I assumed they had a few minor questions. I couldn't have been more wrong. Within the first 5 minutes of the conversation, it became clear that they wanted significant changes. Features that had already been approved were suddenly being questioned. Priorities that had been established weeks earlier were no longer priorities. It felt like the client had completely moved the goalposts. Everything we thought we were working toward had suddenly changed. As you can imagine, the news didn't go over well with the team. When I shared the update during our afternoon meeting, the room fell silent. One designer stared at the ceiling. Another closed his laptop and rubbed his forehead. The client's new requests had effectively thrown a wrench into the entire project. Several parts of the proposal would need to be rewritten. Some of the supporting data would have to be collected again. Even the presentation itself would need substantial revisions. For a moment, it felt like we went back to square one. Weeks of work suddenly seemed far less useful than they had the day before. To make matters worse, the deadline wasn't changing. The client still expected delivery on Friday. That meant we were officially under the gun. The pressure level increased immediately. People stayed late. Calendars filled with emergency meetings. Every conversation seemed to begin with the words, "How quickly can we get this done?" Despite the frustration, nobody wasted time complaining. Instead, we focused on finding solutions. One team member reorganized the presentation structure. Another found a faster way to gather the missing information. Little by little, progress started to return. At that point, our goal wasn't perfection. Our goal was simply to salvage the situation. We knew we couldn't create the ideal proposal in the time available. However, we could still deliver something professional, accurate, and valuable for the client. By Friday afternoon, we were exhausted, but we were finished. The proposal was submitted on time. A week later, the client approved it. Looking back, the experience taught me an important lesson. Projects rarely fail because everything goes wrong. They fail when teams stop adapting after things go wrong. The ability to stay flexible under pressure is often what separates successful teams from unsuccessful ones. Let's review today's expressions. Move the goalposts. To change the requirements or expectations after work has already begun. Throw a wrench into. To create an unexpected problem that disrupts plans. Back to square one. To return to the beginning after progress has been lost. Under the gun. To be under significant pressure to complete something quickly. Salvage the situation. To save a difficult situation from complete failure. Thanks for listening. Try using today's expressions in your next meeting, presentation, or workplace discussion. See you in the next episode.